Okay, it is official. I am being trolled. Welcome to today's video where we're going to be talking about the worst mechanic in a video game I have ever played. I mentioned it before, I stand by it, and I will likely continue to stand by it throughout the entirety of video games that I played, because, well, it genuinely is just that bad. That mechanic is the Chime of Conflict skulls. For those who may not know, the Chime of Conflict is effectively the ranked mode for Deepwoken. If you talk to a certain NPC, he'll give you the Chime of Conflict. If you use it, it'll bring you to a matchmaking lobby where you can pick between playing 1v1s, 2v2s, or 3v3s. Now, when you first jump into the Chime of Conflict, you have 3 lives, or skulls. If you lose a match, you lose a skull. If you win a match, you gain a skull back. Sounds pretty simple. On face value, maybe. But because the Deepwoken developers don't actually play their own game, they're unable to see just how horrifically terrible this system actually is. Let's start with the first and most obvious problem here, which is MMR and skill-based matchmaking. Now, I want to make it abundantly clear that I do not think that it's bad that there's not a casual mode in Deepwoken. A lot of people request a casual, no MMR, just jump in and play the game in 1v1s mode, and I completely understand why that doesn't exist. Deepwoken is such an extremely competitive and skill-based fighting game that the difference between someone at 700 elo and someone at 1200 elo is so astronomical that it might as well be unplayable for the guy at 700 elo, so I can completely understand why there isn't a casual playlist. That being said, because you have skill-based matchmaking that intends you to win 50% of your games, if you're going to log on and play, in all likelihood, you should only be able to play around 6 matches every single day. 6 games, and that's it. Now, maybe to some of you, 6 matches doesn't sound so bad, but let's be realistic. It's not actually 6 matches. Because at the end of the day, when you first start playing Deepwoken's Chime of Conflict, by default, you start at 800 elo. And here's the deal. If you're relatively new to the game and just jumping into trying to get better at PvP, which to get the most experience, you would go to the place literally designed to fight other players, well, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna get fucking stomped. That's what's gonna happen. That means that you're not actually going to play 6 matches, you're going to play 3 games. And at the 3rd game, you will be sent to the depths, because that sounds like a fun mechanic, right? The harsh reality is that in order to actually get to a point where you're playing against people of your skill level, especially for players who are worse off, you're gonna have to lose a lot of games in matches that are so one-sided that you have 0 chance of winning. And that means that you have to play your Chime games every single day, lose all of them, then log off, log in the next day, play your Chime matches, lose all of them, rinse, repeat over and over and over again until you finally settle into whatever elo you're supposed to be in. How in the world of holy fuck did the developers of the game not consider the fact that people that are new to this system that are just jumping in are going to get obliterated 3 times in a row? How did they not think of that? I don't have a clue. Just to try to give you some perspective, because no offense, but clearly you need it. Let me just throw out a time for you and try to let you guess why I said that time. 1 minute and 18 seconds. Do you reckon that you know what 1 minute and 18 seconds means? Well, in case you were curious, I'll let you know. 1 minute and 18 seconds is the amount of time I spent playing the 1v1s mode before I lost 2 times. I lost twice in 1 minute and 18 seconds. That's how long I would have been able to play the ranked mode. Now, granted, a lot of players will probably note on the fact that my build was non-existent and I had broken armor. A lot of people in the comments will understand why that was, and also why this was the reason I was first jumping into Chime, but it shouldn't matter what build I'm using. It shouldn't matter any of those things, There is zero reason why a game mode in the game you should only be able to play for 1 minute and 18 fucking seconds, guys. Are you serious right now? What is wrong with you? Like, I don't mean to get worked up, but like, are you fucking serious? Nobody sees a problem with the fact that you can unlock a game mode that you can only play for 1 minute and 18 seconds before you get kicked out of it. Like, I'm mind blown. I'm actually genuinely mind blown. I don't know how you could make any sort of argument against this. I really, really don't. I'd love to see people try, but I don't know how you could. Now, we do have to address the elephant in the room and something that I'm sure a lot of people are bringing up right now. And that's the fact that in the most recent update, they I don't even want to call it a Band-Aid. They took a stick and tried to put the stick over top of a 50 caliber gunshot wound. That's what this change was. They made it so that way if you solo a boss in Deepwoken, it will refund 1 of your chime skulls. Oh, how fantastic. Now, this is a boneheaded decision for a variety of reasons, of which we'll be getting into right now. First of all, PvP builds are generally speaking not designed for PvE. Wow, who would have guessed? Does it mean that you can't have a PvP build that's also decent at PvE? No, absolutely not. Of course you can. But a lot of PvP builds are so focused around PvP that they are worthless in PvE, which just has to make you start asking questions. Well, why the hell would this be a thing? Because it's going to take forever to kill any of the bosses for a PvP build. So it's just asinine. It's just here to waste even more of your time, which is the whole system in a whole, designed to waste your time. Now, granted, because of the build that I was currently playing on that's borderline non-existent, but it has a heavy weapon and Providence Thorns, so, you know, it's halfway decent against the Ferryman, I can defeat the Ferryman in about 1 minute and 30 seconds. So, oh, congratulations to me. I did it. I spent the same amount of time fighting a boss that I did fighting 2 players and losing to both of them. Fan-fucking-tastic. Except for the fact that it only refunds 1 chime skull. So that means that in all technicalities, I spend double the amount of time playing against the boss than I do playing against, well, real people. Wonderful. And no, please God, no, before one of you development people just grows a tumor on your brain and goes, oh, all right, we'll make it so killing a boss refunds all your chime skulls. No, that's not the fix here. That's not the solution. Please, God, don't do that. Just take it out, guys. Just take it out. It doesn't need to be here. And honestly, even with all that, it just feels like chime skulls as a whole, especially when it comes to visual and audio feedback, well, it just seems like an afterthought, like they just slapped it in here. I wouldn't be surprised that if people that are just playing this for the first time and have no idea how it works would literally just be completely clueless as to why, after they just played 3 games, they all of a sudden got kicked out and sent to the depths. Not only that, but remember when I said fighting bosses gives you a chime skull back? Well, that was clearly and obviously just chucked in without any forethought because there's no indication that it happens. There's literally 0 indicator that you've gained a chime skull back. The only way that you would ever know that is if you read through all of the update logs or someone told you. That is the only way you would ever know that. The whole thing just screams, it's an afterthought. We put it in there because we thought it would be a good idea. We didn't actually consider if it would be a good idea, and now we're obstinately fighting back against our own community for absolutely no reason. Like seriously, I have to ask, who is this system actually for? It's not for the highest of the high-tier competitive players, because those people, in an attempt to continue to play matches all day, will just ask the other player to leave the match before it starts, so that way they can get another skull back and everyone can continue playing. So it's certainly not for the people who have used workarounds to ignore the system. It's definitely not for the lower skilled players who get obliterated in less than 2 minutes and then just can't play the game mode. They effectively get soft locked and gate kept out of it for no reason. So maybe it's for the tiny minority of mid-tier players who don't know about the systems and really feel the pressure and enjoy the pressure of knowing that if they don't win the game, then they won't be able to play the game mode anymore, or they will still be able to play the game mode, but they just have to go through a tedious process in order to do it. Like, seriously, who is this for? I'm genuinely at a loss. Who made this, and why did they make it? I would really, really, really like to know. The absolute best just grasping at straws answer that I can get from my own volition to this question is that because it's quote-unquote my hardcore game, it didn't feel right to the developers to have a game mode where there technically wasn't any risk, so they decided to go this route. Well, guys, you failed spectacularly, because you've effectively made the most gate-kept game mode in any video game that has ever existed. Congratulations. Anyways, I can't go on with any more about this. I feel like I've said everything there is to say about the Chime Skulls. Will anything happen? Probably not, because it seems pretty clear that I don't know who over there, but somebody on the development team is really attached to these things. And I don't know why. I especially don't know why if they hear everything that I have to say here, but maybe they just like wasting everyone's time. I don't know. Frustrating people? Couldn't tell you. I mean, these are the guys behind Rogue Lineage, right? So I shouldn't be that surprised. But it always just seems so odd when there's so many player-friendly choices comparatively, and then you run into old relics like this that are very clearly out of place, and you just have to be like, what the fuck happened here? Anyways, that's all. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you agree with my takes here. I apologize for the more brash nature of the video, but I'm very passionate about it, and it's one of those things where I'm like, it breaks my brain so hard that I can't even fathom it. I just can't. Anyways, that's all. Have a wonderful day, night, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys next time.